year. So basically, of that $4 billion, they actually luckily cashed out to fiat, to cash, so they actually have that in the bank. They didn't like drop after the crypto market drop. And on top of that, they raised another 500 million or so from Peter Thiel and Bitmain. So what that means is, like, when you use EOS for your dApps or whatever your projects are, you don't have to do an ICO. We have an internal VC fund. In fact, one of the things we're going to talk about today is our new grant program we just announced in San Francisco on Sunday for Gateway workers. So I think one of the advantages of having EOS mining us here is we have direct relationships with Block 1 and all the EOS VC funds. So if you're in a city without a strong EOS community, you could basically send your grant application, whatever you have, to a random email address, and good luck, right? But we actually have direct relationships with EOS VCs in Hong Kong, and also one of our co-founders works directly with Dan Larimer now as a core dev on EOS. He actually got hired out of here. So he moved from Brazil, lived in Miami for a year, and he got an immediate job up in Dan Larimer. So so we have a lot of ins, and we've actually leveraged that to our advantage, where we actually are the #1 block producer right now on the Telos chain of EOS. So EOS isn't just one chain; there's like multiple chains. So Telos is the side chain of EOS, but it's also the #2 blockchain in the world. We only launched in December. We already have 10 times the daily activity of Ethereum, and much more than that of Bitcoin. So we really gotten really big really quickly. And the way EOS works is, I'm sure you guys heard of mining, Bitcoin mining, Ethereum mining. There's none of that in EOS, so we're very eco-friendly. So the way EOS works is voting, right? So we do these meetups and everything, showing we're adding value to the community. We do a lot of open source projects. In fact, a lot of our projects are like locally. We developed the #1 crypto wallet in the world for EOS too. And we do the AI Blockchain Alliance. We have a visitor here to ask about that. So we do a lot of things that lead to global mind shares. We want people around the world to vote for EOS Miami to show that we should run the network. And it's worked out, so we're actually #1 vote getter right now for Telos. And so that means that we get daily revenue for running the network. And of our daily revenue, we give away 10% daily to our social impact projects, mostly locally in Miami. So we're really trying to become we are very much part of the community. And on top of that, beyond the grant programs, we're actually trying to help local entrepreneurs, introducing them to all the VCs, but also creating a halo effect. So we've actually taken the initiative, and we've kind of started entering all the local mining startup competitions. So we were actually one of the finalists just recently for the 2019 Miami Herald Business Plan pitch competition. So we're in the fintech category. So that's pretty cool. And then we applied for 500 startups. So we're trying not necessarily that we want the money, but to show the halo effect, right? So if you're part of the EOS, the ecosystem, right? People aren't going to ask what EOS is, and you don't explain it, so we're already going to do the hard work for you. And it has been pretty hard, where I think Juliana might see this, but they have the Miami-Dade County film permitting redesign contest, right? So we pitched as a team, and I tell the story a lot just to show why it's good to lose sometimes. So we always win things, but generally that's what you hear about. But most of the time we're losing, right? And you don't hear about that, but that's important, right? It's where our learning experience come from. But then we get a lot of benefit from what we learn. So downstairs we pitched Miami-Dade County to put film permits on blockchain. And not only did we come in last, we came in negative, right? The AT&T judge wouldn't even take a selfie with us, right? Because the concept, it's like you go there and someone thinks you're selling them drugs or something. Who knows what? Right? They're like, oh, I don't want to hear this, right? But then when we told the story to Mayor Suarez, we actually came to a Crypto Mondays event. He's saying, Miami's going to be, Miami's going to be blockchain city, right? To tell him that story about how his own staff, we didn't use any names, and get in trouble. So now he has the incentive to reach out to us, right? It's so someone's got to be the first and take all the bullets. So we've done that for you. So things are getting easier now. So I'm glad you're all here. It makes it all worthwhile to see a lot of faces in here. So today we have a very special meetup with Ms. Juliana Alexander. So she's the head of Filmgate. I've learned so much from her. I'm a filmmaker myself. I have a movie on Netflix. We started our second with Tara Reid. We started our second movie now, Jeremy Piven, we're going to shoot in South Florida. And we just finished our a new type of video game type of movie. I also run the largest game developer meetup in South Florida, so you see a lot of game devs here. That's all I want to see. So I'm not going to take up too much time. I know you have a lot of new faces, so Pedram's going to do blockchain 101 for us. But just so not to bury the lead, I'm going to go into our brand new grant program just announced Sunday at San Francisco. Yeah, so it's basically called Ready Hacker 1. So basically you have about a month to submit. And it's pretty straightforward, basically. You just have to come up with, they give you a game concept or anything gamified, and you basically apply, you have to show a proof of concept. And part of the judging, you don't have to complete the game, but you have to like show what your roadmap is to actually make the game. We just give you free tokens, basically. That's about it. So as a game developer, when you run all these game developer meetups here, you have the extra advantages. We're the #1 block producer for this network. We also run the top game developer meetup here. So if you have an idea, there's a lot of people even in this room that you can collaborate with. So definitely don't think it's not for you. If you have a great idea, especially, there's a lot of people who have skills, but they don't have great ideas. So this is a perfect room for you guys to find your next. And plus, it's a very short time frame, so it works. If it doesn't work out, you only wasted a couple of weeks, right? It's not wasting 5 years of your life. You'll learn something. Right, so with that, I'm going to introduce Pedram, who's going to do the blockchain 101 talk. Get HDMI. Oh, let me introduce our partners to the BlokTech. You guys introduce yourself, sorry. Yeah.
Hey everybody, so I'm Robin Lam. I'm the CEO and founder of BlokTech Networks. Originally started in Miami as a meetup group. Now we became one of the fastest growing community builders in the blockchain industry. We're actually in 8 locations now. We just started roughly around last year. We do a lot of event hosting, but we also do a lot of B2B business where we connect businesses with other businesses to find clients and stuff like that in the blockchain industry. We started in Miami, then we expanded to Venezuela, Chile, Atlanta, North Carolina, Los Angeles. And we recently just opened up one in Shenzhen, China. So yeah, happy to collaborate with Ravi. He's a great influencer in the blockchain space, especially the EOS. But yeah, excited to have you guys here.
Yeah, I'll just go over all the speakers tonight. So, Rob, and the thing is, I always tell this to Robin because all my friends, the thing they have in common is I have to do their elevator pitch for them. He's actually a medical student. He was a former Facebook engineer. He went to UF and go Gators. So I went to UF as well. So there's a lot going on here. So you have a lot of intellectual capital in this room. They're very humble as well. So Robin's going to speak, and then. Lorenzo, 2 weeks ago, finally, the SEC finally issued new guidance about how to actually do funding without having to get in trouble. So he's going to talk about that. Anyway, as well. And then we'll wrap around back to me at the end. So hopefully we'll have time.
And he is?
And I am Fernando, I'm also with BlokTech, and I'm going to go ahead and also drop in that we do have a conference that's going to be coming down here for mining and disruptive text in July 24th. So if you're interested, you can go to our website, BlokTech.network, and you're more than welcome to check out the content.
A little bit about the conference. It's on July in Miami from July 23rd to 24th, a 2-day event. We have one of the biggest names in the cryptocurrency industry coming. We have Bitmain, Genesis Mining, Ample. So more and more how does a Bitcoin is created? So it's through mining, right? Mining takes a lot of energy and solves a lot of problems. And that's what we're going to explore. A lot of people don't realize that it's not just buying a Bitcoin and a blockchain technology. There's more mathematical and more, huge industries going around that. So it's something that people overlook, and it's going to be one of the first mining conferences in the United States for that. We also have a lot of disruptive technologies in the blockchain industry. We will have Snowball Money, Kava Labs, Akash Networks, and all these big, disruptors of the blockchain industry that will be just debuting their services and products at our event for the first time ever in public. These are vetted companies that have VC funding, and a lot of these backers are the same backers that back Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, all the big names you see in the crypto space. They're going to be there too. So that's what we're going to look forward to. So thank you guys.
Yeah, it's like a sweet spot in timing, right? Things are getting a lot better now. So, you know, I think by the fall, things will be full steam again. So this summer is a time for you guys to really learn something, build something. By fall, it's going to get super crowded again like it was last year. So now's the time for, you're not going to spend too much time doing stuff and you'll have a lot of opportunity.
And really quick before we start, in case you guys are wondering, this is Bits and Tokens who's doing the recording for us. So they provide content in the blockchain space, and they also educate as well. So if you're interested in checking them out, it's bitsandtokens.com.
Blockchain media company.
Thanks for that.
Appreciate that.
Shout out.
Hi guys, my name is Padron Namrizi. I remember some of you from the blockchain talk at EcoTech. I didn't get a chance to kind of break down the blockchain like I wanted, so I brought a couple of slides. I just wanted to help lay the groundwork as to what is blockchain mathematically, what is it, why is it useful, and kind of shed some light on, you know, why putting any faith or money into it is safe and why it's immutable and what those terms really mean. So my name is Padron Namrizi. I'm a consultant with AI and blockchain. Right now I'm working with FAU, working on a robotic dog. I also am a chief technology officer in the area of social media. I helped design one of the first systems for hybrid computing where you integrate dedicated cloud architectures. And I advise with security and infrastructure for blockchain and backend systems. A couple of famous quotes I think I liked coming up. People have no idea how fast things are moving. This is going to be said of artificial intelligence and blockchain. And blockchain symbolizes a shift in power from the centers to the edges of the networks. And the main event isn't Bitcoin, it's using the blockchain to disrupt other industries in Wall Street. So what is essentially blockchain? Well, we'll go into it. It's important to understand that there's a lot of businesses that actually, their entire fabric is built around checking something, doing some process, having some accountability, and then producing that information. So a lot of those industries, from banking to crowdfunding, are getting almost automated in a sense where a lot of the information infrastructure is able to be fact-checked very quickly. I'll explain how that happens. If you look at blockchain, it kind of, I feel like it peaked up and then came down a little bit. The idea that it's a little bit more bedrock than cryptocurrencies. It's kind of like, how does your microwave work? It's radiation in there through a waveguide, but you don't ever really think about those things. Just like blockchain is what enables the transactions to occur, but don't really go into it. One good thing is that what makes blockchain unique is also what makes it not unique. So when you see a lot of different altcoins and different cryptocurrencies, and you can really break it down to what it is by understanding two basic concepts. One is Merkle roots and Merkle trees. Merkle roots are basically just the sum of the tree. When you count all of the leaves all the way up to the top, you get to the sum. So a Merkle tree here, in this case, it has 8 hashes, and in reality, it would include thousands. The root hash of the Merkle tree is part of each link in the next block in the chain. So what that means is, when we look at these combinations, we're creating individual pieces of information that we're then combining into one individual piece of information. And if we keep going all the way up, we can check whether or not something happened in the past with a high degree of accuracy. And what makes it immutable is because every single one of these transactions, the previous transaction and the next transaction, are linked together in a way that all of them connect to each other. Tampering with any individual one would make the entire chain invalid. The ability to speed up these processes can't be understated because to confirm transaction date, one only needs to know a few of the transactions. By verifying those all the way up to the actual transaction, you can be assured that it actually occurred. The safety aspect comes from that all of this information is duplicated and randomly verified. So the P2P aspect of it is really just saying, get rid of the middleman because they don't actually need to check it. What we could do is you could create a specific hashing function and a specific way to check it and then randomly choose who's going to do that. And we kind of have this P2P way of determining whether or not things actually occur. And in those cases, we call those confirmations. And in a lot of cryptocurrencies, you need a certain number of those confirmations before any other ledger will say, okay, I'll make my books reflect your books, because there's enough people in the community that agree that all of these events happened with that data in it in this specific order. And that's a very, very just general abstraction of what blockchain is. And if it sounds really basic, then that's good. You got the point of it. There's
Quick
no
question.
Yes, go ahead.
How about if you hack the first tile in the chain?
If you hack the first tile in the chain, well, actually, the first tile in the chain is usually a pretty special tile. It's usually called the Genesis one. And
Because it's a dependency, it sounds like.
right. Well, that's the thing, is that the Genesis one is usually done controlled. So it's not like the first one ever would be tampered with. But the basic idea is we have the ability to create a ledger. Each ledger, every entry is individually linked to each other in such a way that you cannot change any individual link or any aspect about it. Because the concept that's really important to understand is hashing. When you hash something, you're taking an arbitrary amount of data and you're giving a fixed length code. This is really part of cryptography today, but the point of it is once you hash that code, you can't create whatever you hashed. So the hash can determine whether or not you know that code, but you can't create the code from the hash. This is why it's used and what gives it its cryptographic structure.
So let me
In
just.
terms of your transactions, and going back to the various industries you showed, are the transactions only numerical?
The transactions are not only numerical. Transactions could actually be anything. We could be creating transactions out of the minutes of this meeting right now. So the transactions could be visual data.
Well, I'm basically referencing creative content
Okay.
in terms of language processing. Can it do that?
Absolutely. I mean, when you're doing artificial intelligence on natural language processing, for the most part, you're turning letters and words and paragraph into vectors, so they can be computed numerically. So they're all going to end up eventually as numbers. But what's important is did anybody change those numbers from the moment it was created? Was that moment demarcated and then linked to the moment after? In such a way that you can't go in and say, all right, I want to change what time this person came. And actually, that's pretty much.
A film set in space, we use green screens, game engines, and we use the AR. So today, we were supposed to do this for blockchain, obviously we ran out of time, but we'll just show the basics how you do 3D scan, because what Jeremy does is all like code, right, procedural. What he's doing is actually taking real world objects, putting it into
So the real thing that I wanted to show is if you're starting to do things like augmented reality and filmmaking, we kind of had traditionally always needed the green screen. So I just wanted to kind of like show that there are different options.
And this is the brand new Intel RealSense 2 or RealSec. We're actually helping University of Miami set up their environment with your friend Ken. Like we had a call with him. You can come today, so you guys don't have to. But they're saying that their volumetric capture studio with like several hundred acres too. So they're helping do a relationship with Intel. So hopefully we get these donations. So we got one, but you ended up have like 100 of these.
So what's going on the two screens there?
So it's just showing you depth. So the real quick thing is eventually this will be a type of system where when you're filming, you can basically film it anywhere, but take the whole background and, as you see, align the depth to the color.
Yeah.
It's not perfect because there's a little tweaking that needs to be done for processing.
Sure.
But for the most part, now you don't need to have a green screen behind you, which kind of really opens up your options for being able to just plant you into different worlds. In addition, there are other things that we can do, and one of those is the ability to pose estimation. That kind of looks like this.
You're it's on the other screen.
Yeah. So pose estimation allows me to get an idea of where everybody is.
That's cool.
Okay?
So this is another use of blockchain smart contracts for
Look, your stick
because
figure too.
a lot of computer vision is AI based, and the blockchain makes sure that AI is not being racist. The trading model. Yeah.
I'm down.
You just have
Sorry, I want to see that.
to switch out the camera. It's actually running right now.
What is it?
Yeah, it's gonna be, you're just gonna capture your
I
soul.
thought it was a conversation. Are you going?
Oh, yeah, that's what,
Oh,
that's what,
what's happening.
Well, you have that little,
Okay.
you can just, I want to introduce Filmgate.
Sure. So I'm Deliana Alexander. I'm the executive director of Filmgate Miami. Filmgate Miami is the largest filmmaker actor collective in Florida. We empower the independent voice of Florida. If you are creating a film, a web series, a commercial, a music video, so anything independent within this region, you will probably end up working with us because we provide production resources, we have workshops, we have events in the traditional space, which is, as I said, film, web series, commercials, music videos, but also we are absolutely obsessed and interested what the future of storytelling holds. And for us, the future of storytelling is immersive and interactive storytelling. So virtual reality or augmented reality, especially. Cool. Magic Leap, everyone. Obviously, you know who they are. We got an iFoundation grant in 2013 to begin a festival called Filmgate Interactive. And Filmgate Interactive at the time was the only festival in the region, well now it's still in the region, but in the United States that specialized in immersive and interactive storytelling. So that's all we show. We don't show any traditional films. Everything that you see and experience, because it's not see, at Filmgate Interactive, you as the audience are somehow involved and interactive and in creating the story, from immersive theater to augmented reality now with Magic Leap. This year, one of our sponsors was HP, and I don't know if you've noticed, but HP is very aggressively moving into the interactive market with VR glasses and also with backpack computers that do haptics. And we had one of, Joanna Popper is their VP of marketing, and she was one of our keynote speakers. And we asked her, why is HP so interested in VR? And HP predicts that in less than 10 years, everything that you're using, from a cell phone that we're so attached to it, we're sleeping with it, we are I don't mean that, but we how we are always with our cell phone, right? And also with our laptops. So all of that is going to be on your head within less than 10 years. So imagine this, and I believe it because as a filmmaker who started in traditional film and where we've gotten to just in the last 15 years, technology is so exponentially moving forward, a different way of telling stories and consuming entertainment and also being a storyteller. And you see that, for example, Technicolor, Technicolor was the original tech company that colored film, they don't at all work in this environment anymore. Everything that they do at the moment is in a VR space, right? So many of the traditional tech companies are moving and pivoting within the interactive immersive storytelling space. That's not to say that vinyl is going to disappear, traditional film is going to disappear, but it will be just something that's very niche. How VR and AR is very niche right now for most people. I think that's how traditional film and traditional storytelling will be maybe within the next 10 years, as HP predicts. I wouldn't be surprised, yes.
I'm gonna throw out there that I think it's gonna be sooner. A lot of people
I
look
agree.
at the headset and think, okay, so in 10 years you expect me to be wearing that big complete thing? You gotta think about how big were our computers 10 years ago, how big, the screens were. The same way how the VR headsets are big now, but in the next 10 years they'll shrink smaller and smaller. Why wouldn't you wear them as glasses on your head where you can be able to see AR and VR
That's
fully
very true.
immersive?
And you will, and also this is, I don't think that's just my prediction, but I think, there's augmented reality and virtual reality. Eventually, I think it will be the same headset where you can just kind of flip from the different, in real life, augmented reality, virtual reality.
Some people call that mixed reality.
Exactly.
I think I saw already in the
Yeah, they already did it. As a camera, so
in Silicon Valley, somebody started playing. They look through the glass, but they already see the images, everything movies.
Yeah.
They look like straight somewhere. So
Yeah,
it's-
well,
it doesn't have to
how
be
many
close.
of you have played with Magic Leap or experienced it, right? What did you think? Do you think that that's something that you want more of, or?
It was kind of like it's a work in progress. It's like weird. You're getting used to all of like the movements. For me, I think they got better.
CTO of BlokTech.
I went inside the brain to look for a brain tumor.
Well, the interesting thing is, did you experience the Sigur Rós experience that they did? So it's, I think augmented reality is really disrupting music and musical experiences. So let's say like how you can experience an album by an artist, right? And I think with the one that's ingrained within the Magic Leap is it was created together with Sigur Rós, which is this Icelandic band that's very epic. And then you, as the user experiencer, you go in and you start interacting, and the controls are completely lost. There are no controls in this experience, right? And I think that's where it's also going. That like all of these extra things like mouse, mice and controllers that are maybe the barrier of a fully integrated experience are now sort of falling to the side. So you're using your own hands to actually play with this universe, and you're pulling on strings and you're composing within this space. And for me as a storyteller and a filmmaker, and also the executive director of Filmgate, this is a very interesting way of telling stories where you're involving your audience within it. And I think it's a way more deeper experience for your audience as well to understand what you're trying to tell.
So we'll get into the conversation about blockchain now. So,
Okay,
so since you brought up Magic Leap,
Yeah.
this was one of our Magic Leap grant applications for cryptocurrency. So Magic Leap has a lot of job openings right now for blockchain engineers. So everyone's obviously HP is doing it.
Yeah.
So I'll play this video. Darius has actually seen it. Darius is actually one of those people from Miami, back and forth here in California. So in the crypto community. Yeah, we call ourselves the Miami Mafia. All the people from Miami are out in LA and San Francisco. We all try to network and help each other. In fact, he helped me find my wallet I lost in LA at the Crypto Invest Summit. He actually literally hypnotized me, helped me retrace my steps where I lost.
I try on 5 people. It's my hobby for the subconscious mind on 5 people. I found all of
That's a great thing about Miami, man. You see random places.
Somebody else,
Your Miami Mafia.
somebody said you have to specialize on this.
So
It's my hobby.
So part of the process of what we're doing, right, is raising the profile of Miami, and also what we're all doing here. So the rising tide lifts all boats. So we actually went out to San Francisco. So we're the only Florida-based organization that got chosen to pitch at the first ever blockchain gamer conference out in San Francisco with Google and all those people. So this video was actually shot at Emerge Americas last year at the Comcast Lift Labs. It's just Miami Beach. But anyway, so this is also our Magic Leap crypto grant application. So I'll let you just watch this, and then we'll start the conversation from here at a starting point.
I'm Ruby Alamachi, the co-founder and CTO of BlokTech.com. We're the social network for dogs and dog owners. And what we've built is a really cool platform for dogs and dog lovers to become friends with each other and go on dog dates and actually interact with each other. We also built a series of really cool games that exist in the real world and offline as well. And the connecting technology between the real world and offline is blockchain. So our interesting aspect of blockchain, there's a few blockchain projects already out there for pets, but they're all like virtual pets, right? Our actual blockchain projects has a virtual pet that's related to a real world pet and no-kill animal shelter. So if you feed a virtual dog in our platform, you're actually feeding a real dog in a real no-kill animal shelter. So multiple people can get together to adopt a dog, feed a dog, and play games and actually support these shelters and real dogs. And even if you don't want to play the game, we're creating a plugin so other dog-friendly applications and stores can actually help donate through our blockchain algorithm to actually support dogs throughout the world in no-kill shelters. So we're modeling about $100 million in revenue within 2 years, and we have a good start. We've already built the MVP. You can go sign up for it and put your dog out.
So that's more like game making. It's just filmmaking. Let me tell you the filmmaking aspects. And I know Dwayne and other people came just for the filmmaking aspect, so I don't want to do the whole bait to switch. So you know, blockchain gaming, it's interesting. It's actually like one of the top use cases of blockchain right now. There's always a little bit of stretch, right? You know, because the concept is if you can replace the word blockchain with the word database, it's the same thing. It's not a blockchain game, right? So to find those specific use cases, they're interesting, but they're hard to find. Well, filmmaking is the exact opposite, right? Filmmaking is wide open. Almost anything that you do with filmmaking can be improved with blockchain because, and we'll get Lorenzo up here in a second, because filmmaking, you know, as Diliana knows, it's a very opaque business, right? You see these movies that made $1 billion, and yet they supposedly lost money, so none of the actors get paid, right? So there's a lot of aspects of smart contracts and the way you pay and also track the revenues and the production. That's important. We'll get into that. But what we like to do at EOS Miami is we always try to promote the local communities, local entrepreneurs. So Bayview is a blockchain movie application. It's built here in Florida. And that's why I wore this shirt as well, because Atomic Network is the founding company that made this movie. And we're, you know, Adriana Wilkinson, she plays Xena's daughter. So she's the lead actress on this too. She plays the Starship captain on that. So it's an independent creative film, you know, it's an independent Miami science fiction film. So we're going to show this because they're a local company. And since they're local, you can actually just meet everyone too. So that's what we promote. So basically, you know, with filmmaking, right? There's an aspect of of production, but production is only a tip of the iceberg, right? You know, after you produce it, you have to find venues to show it, you have to promote it, market it, and you have to get people to tweet about it, to write reviews. So basically, Bayview, I'll show you the app as well. So I actually earned their crypto by posting a venue review of the AMC Aventura Mall, right? So I did this. I actually went with the manager, right? We walked around. I did a theater venue review, right? And they actually gave me cryptocurrency for doing this review. It's almost like doing a real world Yelp statement too. So what they did was someone else had previously went there with an app in an augmented reality, like a Pokemon. They actually literally planted cryptocurrency in this room, saying, you know, and to claim it, you have to write a review of that location, right? So basically, I went there and I saw there's this bounty to write a review. So I claimed it by posting the video. Of course, they had to post the video and agree to it that I did a good video. I earned 57 of their tokens on this video. So I won't play the whole thing, but you get the concept where, you know, this is all in the movie ecosystem. But I earned crypto by just being a movie fan, not even a producer here. I didn't do all this, but we had to, I wanted to be a real storyteller, right? So I had me walk in. They probably just wanted a talking head. So we're at the AMC 24 theaters here in the beautiful Aventura Mall in South Florida, a little bit north of Miami. proceed. The actual theory manager is more on the phone right now. He's using my phone. And just the concept of explaining what we're doing, he didn't understand it, but you know, he thought it was exciting. So he just did it. Very, very friendly staff. So this is like a great place to do film premieres. So this is actually the place where we go to watch Hollywood movies and also some of our independent movies from my friends who are actually premiered here. From LA, we rent out this theater. I mean, you get the idea, but let me show you what the app actually looks like.
What can you do with the coins?
So they actually have, it's different from last year, what the theory was till now, and we'll get into the securities aspect. The original white paper was, you know, they wanted to do everything. They wanted to become like the next Yelp, right, with cryptocurrency, but with like a location-based aspect. They want you to earn currency by posting reviews and then use it, you know, in the whole film production process as well. But then all of us, we kind of all went to ground, right? You know, we kind of like until the SEC started like giving actual notification of what's legal, what's allowed, and what's not. You know, we kind of like we've all been hibernating, doing stuff as proof of concepts now. But that's going to change this year too.
Juliana, I had a question for you. In terms of the augmented reality, is that technology being paired with the technology for visually impaired?
Oh, with augmented reality?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question because I know that Magic Leap has the ability of switching to different optics if you do have visual impairment, but it's not a complete blindness. So it's just a little bit. So I think that's something that's very interesting what's happening because when it comes to VR, it's a fantastic technology if you have mobility issues. But then when it comes to visual impairment, it's something that it's being discussed, but nothing has been really resolved.
Well, there's a company that's presenting to Congress in reference to some of the federal funding hacked image that is researching out of Purdue University. And so
So you saw the same.
For that population.
So the important thing here is, yeah, I did earn currency, but they tracked it right here. They gave me a unique. They basically, like what Pedro was saying, they hashed my video, right? So anyone else, even if they copied the video, right, took stole it, right? They wouldn't be able to recreate the hash. But the hash is also based upon time codes as well. So basically, it's a way that they track copyright infringement, also who actually gets paid for. Because people just watching the videos also, there's ways to earn and to spend by just watching videos. Certain videos are free, certain videos are like almost like pay-per-view. So people like can watch my videos. I can use this almost like a monetization platform.
And are the videos like on IPFS or something, or YouTube, or like?
No, I mean everyone's. Yeah, it's basically on their servers right now, but it's basically it was a tracking. So basically, that's how they track you by the video ID.
Sure.
And the map was like, this is where I picked up my bounty. Basically, someone posted that. And so if you posted a venue video here, that's where I picked it up. So the video ID is my video, and that's where I shot it to. So there's a lot they're doing here.
So you say you get a royalty off of every view that you get on your video that someone views?
Yeah. So basically, you know, PewDiePie. PewDiePie is the number one YouTuber in the world. So he just moved over to D-Live just literally less than a week ago, right? So he's actually earning crypto now by streaming once a week on D-Live. So what he does is, and then you can sign up for it, but so this is actually his account page. So basically, when you go here, you as a viewer will have to basically have D-Live currency to watch his stream. So it only kind of only works for people who already have a large following already. And then there's different like crypto economics behind what the DLive token is going to be used for.
Talk about like the use case for that. So if I have like a smart contract and I'm programming this that once this hits a certain amount of views, disperse cash, let's say $1 million to you, how do you validate that the views are actually real, coming from real human, things like that?
In this case, it wouldn't matter because even to view it, you have to pay. Right? There's very little free content out there. So because part of it is, it's basically like creator centric. Basically, they're giving the creators a much higher level of payout than YouTube would. YouTubers, these will make a living. It's really tough now, but they get a much fewer number of views using crypto and make a lot more money in theory.
They don't take any funds whatsoever. So like YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, takes like 40%. DLive doesn't take anything.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's like they basically have different cuts that they take, but they don't give it to themselves. They give it to their other pools to help other creators. So it's a new concept. So I'm sure maybe later on when they get some traction, maybe they'll take a cut down the one.
So it's like if Patreon and YouTube came together for the benefit of the content creator, essentially.
Yeah, but it's not Patreon though. Patreon's more donation. This is purely, like pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view, right.
But
isn't it like, yeah, it's not like you pay all at one time, or it's like you pay 99 cents. If I'm not mistaken, you could put like $5 on your account, and then as you're watching different content, it'll deduct small amounts from each person per, I wouldn't say per second, it's more like per minute that you're watching somebody's content. Gotcha.
So, and some of your other questions, right? And I know Dwayne's here for that too. Like, we have on EOS, we have something called the E-Goods Initiative. And a part of us having like a lot of global mindshare at EOS Miami. So this only launched 2 weeks ago, and only 5% of the EOS community globally got to be part of the Alpha project, and that's us as well. So what we're doing, we can actually help you do is if you have virtual objects, we're obviously doing a 3D scan something, but generally people are doing it for in-game objects. We can make in-game objects that are basically exist on a blockchain, partially rendered from a blockchain. That's also what we're doing here tonight is, if you have like a Kickstarter for a movie, a lot of times you give away swag, but in this case you can give away a crypto collectible. So the way that works is a crypto collectible is something that would actually have like monetary value, like almost like a baseball card, right? So like recently we did the 3D scans of like Dwayne Wade shoes. I did a heat up about that.
I actually have a bunch of tokenized art on Ethereum.
Yeah. This is literally, we did 3D scans of the shoes, right? And put it on AR. And then with downstairs at a previous meetup, we put this on the EOS blockchain E-Goods Initiative. And the concept is, we'll only issue 1,000 of these, so there'll be somewhat some scarcity. And the thing is, since it's digital, we're going to be pitching this to the Marlins as well. Our friends do this for the Dodgers. So they're making like bobblehead dolls. But since they're digital, can be rendered every time your player hits a home run, he gets a smile on his face. So there are different other things that happen. So this gets, since you guys are reminding me, this is like Dwayne Wade actually seeing his issues for the first time in AR. All right, so let me introduce the next speaker. Yeah. So everything we've been talking about, right? Is the world's basically is just changed 2 weeks ago, the crypto world, because we had a lot of theories about how this stuff could be used, and it was kind of a little bit like the Wild West in like 2017 and part of 2018. That's why there was like a bubble, right, where everything went to the sky, because you could have any sort of wild imagination you want. And the SEC, kind of clamped down on that, but in a way they went too far. And now no projects were like basically moving forward. But now that they're starting issuing the first guidance 2 weeks ago, and Lorenzo's an expert on that, he can explain something, especially from filmmakers, what things we can do to help fund our movies and projects without with standard compliance.
Okay. Do you know what changed in the last 2 weeks? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Bullshit.
My cash flow.
Welcome to America. My job is to let people like Drum, Prav, very smart people, way smarter than I am, to do their job, notwithstanding the US government. Okay. What happened is there is a time lapse. You have to understand that there is a time lapse in between the US structure and what really happened in reality. Currently, the US legal system is working on something, on a law that was issued in 1933. Let me try to explain. I had a meeting a month ago with 7 corporate counsel, incredibly smart people from New York that they have an accent way funnier than mine. And they wanted to convince me that just because they say it's a security, this is a security. And the greatest impact is that there is a reality world, there is something that is moving incredibly fast, and there are people that is really entrenched in a reality that is probably they are living in movies. They are totally clueless of what's happening around them. So I try to take them up to speed, but with a scarce result. Because like during a conversation, make an example. During a conversation a month ago, I had a corporate counsel from the SEC telling me, making as a reference, oh yes, you can operate it if you use a framework that was adopted by Merrill Lynch in 1974. 1974, lots of people in this room probably were not even born in 1974. Like they want us to fit something incredibly like innovative, exciting as blockchain in a framework that goes back to so long ago. Just to give you an idea, like the last legal foundation that can be applied to the blockchain, it was a decision by a Florida judge in 1946. Probably you heard about it. The Howey test. This Howey test that everybody talks about, Howey test, is what they are applying, or what is a security or is not a security. Why it is so important, all this? Because they want us they want everybody, the community, to convince us that whatever you are issued on the blockchain, that is something so technologically innovative, exciting, and everything, it is a security. And as a security, you have to protect the consumer. And I always think about guys.
Let me bring it to we want to make it interactive, right? Yes. So basically, a typical filmmaker, right? Maybe if you're trying to do your first movie or a YouTube series, you go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
You want to raise funds?
You go to see the spark.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want,
you need cash. You need cash. You need to fund yourself.
But basically, you're doing like generally like pre-sales, right? Of either DVDs or something. You have to give something to. But you're not getting investment, right? You're not selling shares of your corporation. But the SEC this SEC, a lot of times when you do a crypto project, they're saying you're trying to sell like securities to someone. And filmmakers don't have the ability to figure that out, right? So what's one way that a filmmaker can use crypto as giving someone an asset like swag as opposed to having SEC security?
It's tricky. The whole problem is, okay, they came out with something. They came out with a framework, finally. But this framework is not something totally new. They are using parameters that were built in 1946.
What are some things they definitely can't do that?
No. It's not. Unfortunately, to to found yourself. The biggest problem is you have to, it's what you are trying to do. In reality, you want to found yourself, you find your project. You want to do something and you need cash for that. That is something that the SEC doesn't like. Because for them, that is a security. You are selling something, an asset. You are selling an asset that you are breaking up in pieces and you are trying to found your project. Because they identify 3 particular elements. The whole thing is you have to put money on something that they call is a common enterprise. So if you are like a movie, is a common enterprise. And the big issues is that you have third parties that are like the filmmakers, it's him, that he filmed the movie, and is gonna sometimes make money out of that. The SEC is very concerned that he's making money out of that movie. Even if you say, guys, we are perfectly cool with proud, making money out of that. Why? Because we just bought a piece of it in advance. They don't like that. They don't like it because proud one day he can just say, fuck that shit, I'm out of it. And he disappears. That is the main risk. So they want the proud put out a lot of disclosure, he has explained that he's a good boy, that he haven't done anything bad in his life, and blah, 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 blah. The whole thing is about disclosure. Unfortunately, this is very expensive. So, and it requires attorneys, and it requires a lot of very, very tiring filing with the SEC that can even say, we don't like that. So you depend on other things. So this is the biggest problem in all this picture. However, that's the trick. They gave you finally something that looks like a framework, because it's not guidance. They don't even call it guidance, they call it framework. Framework, if you operate inside this framework, you are not actually a criminal. It's not that you are a criminal. The whole problem is like you come out with something, they go after you, they start to block your project, they put subpoenas, there are risk of fines and a lot of litigation. Boatload of bullshit. That's what stop. Imagine you are in the middle of a project and your project gets choked by something stupid as an SEC.
So basically, they haven't made a decision yet. It's still
No. Their decision. It's not. They come out with a framework.
Okay.
The framework tells you, okay, if you operate inside this little small universe, you are not a security. It's a very tiny universe.
What's the universe?
This universe, it tells you that you cannot really found yourself for your project. You have to have something. In this case, let's go back to pure blockchain. I know that we are talking about filming a lot.
But I'll just cut to the chase. This is why we invited Gilliana, actually. That's the reason. So, because we got...
Yes.
So basically, this is all in flux. We actually invited 5 current SEC officials to come from SEC office here, and I added them on LinkedIn. So they accepted my LinkedIn invitation. So they're interested, but they weren't ready to talk. So they're still figuring out.
They can't really talk. Yeah. They are bounded, and particularly here in Miami, they cannot talk. Only the people from New York are allowed to talk.
So, but I think things are changing fast. But just our current understanding is what Gilliana is doing is super important right now. And this is also Jeremy, he's going to be our next speaker. This is also, so the basic is just to not cut to the chase while we invite Gilliana is, what the SEC said 2 weeks ago is you can't use crypto to fund your project, but use crypto in an existing project. So we've been reading that within the...
Not really, not in an existing project. Is this something, okay, you can issue a token, okay, and you can sell this token. However, this token has to be immediately usable. It's something that you have to be able to sell it. It's not something like it's a time issue.
Right.
Immediately, let's say that is, first you are not you should not be able to sell it in a secondary market. This is the tricky part.
So basically, just to cover all those bases, right? So what we've done is through our EOS community and D-Goods and this new marketplace, we created a new marketplace where basically if you have a film or a game, basically you can take whatever characters you have, like your lead character or a game, if you have a Warhammer, you can wrap that into an existing token. It's already traded, so you're not creating a new token. So everything, and then you basically put your game object in our new alpha marketplace. So basically, it's getting back to the a little bit more of the traditional crowdfunding model, where you're giving someone like an object, whether it's like maybe not DVD, but like a T-shirt, right? So you're not issuing a new type of like crypto token. You're issuing an object or a digital object that's basically verified by that token. But you still have the economics. You don't want to issue like 1 million of them, so you'll have no. So, but you can't talk about how it will go up in value. You know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. You can never say it, like you have security. So basically, that's some of the things that we're. So in order, but thing is, the SEC, one of the big things is there has to be a project that's already existing. Right? You can't be using it to fund a new project. So that blows up the Kickstarter model. It's not how you're doing a Kickstarter for your meeting because it's something that doesn't exist yet. So what our proposal and our idea is this is really a question. It's not me telling you. It's a question. It's like our idea is maybe you do a simple game, right, for your project or something simple, right, and you use those characters or objects in the game for people to buy those, right? And the understanding is they're supporting you as a creator, right? And whatever revenue you get from selling those objects, you're going to use to fund as ongoing revenue to fund your whole development production company too. You have this roadmap. So it's a way for people to give you money without being responsible for security. And there's no right answer, right? SEC, you know, they're going to have another big meeting in July, right?
It's a feature film. I cannot in any way use blockchain as the original funder.
Not as a fund, not as a fund. The biggest problem, the problem is the funding.
You can use it. You can use it like so. So basically, one of our friends' game is called Crypto Space Commander. So the way all the blockchain game people, including that game you saw with the dogs, right? We get around it is we're not selling you a dog. So it's basically you can fund a game. It's an existing game on the website. You can even go sign up right now. We're basically selling you items to use in a game that's already existing. It's like normal old farm world, right? We're not selling you like cows to fund a new game. Yeah.
Think about
so basically having a simple object for something.
But how would that work in a
So
traditional
all
film?
those concerns is you just.
It's like a casino.
Yeah. And you get tokens.
You get tokens.
Sure, I can.
And you pay your trading token inside, and you have
Yeah,
a
airplane.
good service.
Do you have a
No, I don't have iPhone, I have a.
do you have a we're trying to
So for all those concerns are only if you sell it to US consumers, right?
They are good looking.
Yeah, no.
Talking to my every day.
I mean, it's not a good idea to start out that you're trying to social media.
So just a quick question. If you generate these tokens and these tokens have immediate usage on some gaming platform.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Juliana, so that's the key right there is it has to have immediate. The number one thing that they're talking about has to have immediate usage. Whatever you're selling has to have immediate usage in the product you already have. That's why. So basically, with XR, you can create the same storytelling through multiple venues. Your VR app, your AR app, your game, your movie. But but it could be the same character, right? The same objects.
Well, if you
Inside
can, sorry, you can sell extra storylines, let's say, or maybe special abilities.
But always
But in
consider
traditional
that
film, it's going to be a little.
per se, it's not illegal to fund a project. It's not. It's just that it's very expensive. Like it's very expensive and it's
Yeah,
very,
filmmakers don't have that
very
money or
regulated.
expertise. They're not.
Yeah.
not gonna do it.
we don't want to do it.
Yeah, good.
So if you said that, like, you know, in terms of the regulation, you know, we cannot fund a movie project, for example, because there is some security.
You can. You always can.
You can, but you don't want to.
That you don't want.
Right, but
Otherwise, yeah.
If you have 30 people, and then SEC won't go after you.
But that's what I'm saying. So
You want to be crypto then for that.
Yes.
So, but
If you
really
have
to get
30
back
people, you won't go after
to Greg's question, like, you know, why do we? And there's the funding aspect. That's only one aspect of why we're using blockchain other object is smart contracts, right? Where his question is like, how do you release funds or release something happen when certain thresholds release, right? So I know, like I bought production insurance from Diliana in the past, right? So it's perfect use for like film production insurance or anything that has to do with certain events happening, right? And this also goes into the AI blockchain lines too. Greg works for Microsoft now. He's really big into AI. So
But my question was, I didn't finish my question. Is there, the problem of funding, is there any kind of a blockchain crowdsourcing organization where you can actually,
the thing is like all that stuff is like, there was a lot of that, but no one knows what's needed. So and there's tons of platforms that are unused right now, but they're going to start being used later this year. So right now we're all in like building and brainstorming mode, but later this year it'll start being. So this is a time to build and learn, and there's no one doing it, no competition. But there's good questions, but not even SEC has the answers yet. Or if they do, they don't have no time.
It's very complicated too.
There's a quick saying, there's a saying that's about 3 years old on that, which is that you buy a token if you need to get on the bus and the bus is going your way. I mean, I've personally been evangelizing for 3 years that's where we're going with this. It's not gonna change. We typically know what a token does in that sense. Now, of course, does the bus company manage that advance ability to get you to pay a few hours before you get on the bus?
Yeah.
But the bus has to be going your way, otherwise it's an illegal use.
And from that point of view, is like going the direction of markets too. We'll get to your question, but like film blockchain is definitely a very high value and high interest area. It's definitely something that you're not going to be wasting your time getting to this. So some other uses of blockchain, you saw that slide. Some of those uses are like theoretical. I mean, but no one like seriously argues that blockchain isn't going to have a real use in movies. Where even like MoviePoint, they have a basis in Santa Monica, but a lot of them are mostly in Cayman. They come to Miami a lot. They actually oversold their pre-sale of their MoviePoint token, right? In an era when like no one was selling anything. This is a movie film production token that's sold out, and they sold it directly to just institutions, right? Like Goldman Sachs. They didn't sell it to mom and pops. They pulled it because they got enough money from institutions. So from that point of view, so all the big institutions that are already into film financing already knows it's going to be a thing. So they've already pre-funded like a movie film production token. It had good backing. The guy that made Birdman. So a lot of people who are into traditional film production are into this stuff too. So they had a good team. But so when nothing else is getting funded, the movie token got funded. And then we'll get to, and then to answer your original question like an hour ago. So there's a lot of use cases of blockchain beyond funding, right? Blockchain and cryptocurrency are like almost two separate topics, but just within the movie industry, right? So if you have a smart contract, you saw the hashes, right? Things happen, and you can verify that my video wasn't pirated. But the smart contract, it's almost like an application or a function that happens that exists on the blockchain, an entire program, a DM, right? So in case of, say like IMDb, right? IMDb has APIs. If I wanted to pay an actor based upon their star meter rating too, or like after I signed the contract, maybe they had additional publicity and their star meter rating went up. They got released, that means that like they're worth more than we should sign up for. Maybe we give them an incentive to do like more publicity for us too. So how do we pull in that? Yeah, so basically we put that on start, and if we put that on the blockchain, right? We read the data from IMDb. Generally, if we just had a regular web app, but do that on the blockchain, that's really tough. Right now, to get data onto the blockchain, if you have it verified by someone, if it's esports, whatever, any data you look at is $15 right per call. If it's even automated, it's still like 25 cents, right? So the AI aspect is what we use that for too. We're doing on-chain oracles, basically the AI just makes those decisions based upon certain other factors too. It's almost like guessing probabilistic, which is what AI is good for. Blockchain is good for deterministic. So you're taking truth on blockchain and probability with AI, and an intersection of the two is a new type of industry that we just created called AI blockchain markets too. It's a huge opportunities here in Miami because we kind of like pretty creative and stuff, and there's a lot of people all in one room. This would never actually happen in LA. Obviously, people in different industries, different companies in one room. trying to brainstorm how to charge. So you're
No, because the way you, based on my understanding, like if you're going to do this work, an actor, big actor is not going to talk to you.
Who?
The agent are not going to talk to you.
Oh, you're talking about like a production
Like
company?
you're talking about blockchain, you're talking about
Yeah, you know, I think from a filmmaker's point of view, you wouldn't be issuing your own token. You would be using, like I showed you the Vivo app. You basically put your content onto the Vivo app and earn Vivo tokens, right? To get to that point, you know, as an actor, why bother? Like, you know, and they're already giving it away for free. Like you saw D-Live, Crypto, QD, right? They're taking 0% cut. So they're doing all this work for you and they're not taking any cuts. You might as well use existing platforms. And it's all stuff's open source anyway, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You don't have to understand how to build a laptop, you just use it. So part of it is like, don't let the jargon and all this stuff scare you, because you could have said the same thing about the internet like 20 years ago, right? Like it's not understandable, but now it's like, it's in the background technology, it exists and you don't even notice it, right? And that's the blockchain is just a little bit the same, right? Because people early as internet had that sort of like techno mysticism. We're going to change the world, make the world a better place. That's how crypto is now too, where people are in it and staying in it because they want to change the world for various reasons, you know. And this is one of the ways they do it. They're not doing it just because they like math, right? They want to do things like change the nature of money and other things too. A lot of people, if you notice, you know, a lot of people on crypto are also yogis. And a lot of other things are very spiritual minded, like I'm vegan, another vegan right there. So there's a lot of the reasons why we're in it beyond like trying to make a quick bucks, especially once you're staying in it too. So.
I like
yeah, but this guy's the perfect venue. Like he's actually, so this is Jeremy. He's actually one of the top crypto artists in the whole world. So and also he's a big into he's a big Unity and Python, does procedural art. So a lot of things are game, art, filmmaking, crypto. It all existing in one dude right here. He's a pretty nice guy, just shows up when we ask him to.
Yeah, this is a kind of interesting opportunity, some of the stuff you were talking about. Each one of these little images that you see here is actually an Ethereum token. So each one of these is actually something that, you know, I went in my own Ethereum wallet and issued it as a token through this platform that they have. And then each one of these, you can actually track the history. It's all really on the blockchain, and you can do visualizations like that. For example, this piece right here, you can just see who created it, which is me, who currently owns it. It does track like likes and views, like, you know, not a big deal. But then here you can actually see where I created it. You can view the transaction on Etherscan here, where it'll actually bring up the blockchain transaction where I created, you know, this is the hash. Like that he was talking about, that verifies this was made from my address and then, you know, sent to this contract address. So, but in essence, like what this turns into is that I made 121 bucks from this like digital artwork that I was just doing. So one of the cool things is that you can basically take digital art, which is just pixels, and then trade them for digital coins. And there's two people that are happy, you know, like I'm happy with the value that I've like, you know, obtained, and then the purchaser also is happy. And all this is on chain, so it's really cool. It's empowering because I don't really have.
And why is the purchaser purchasing this on?
You know, some
is supposed to go into your web store.
So basically, and then all of these will show up in your like wallet. So like, you know, while it's on this website, you can view it here. It's also going to be visible like in MetaMask if any of you use that, or it's in your just Ethereum wallet, just like a Bitcoin. If you had a Bitcoin in your wallet, this just shows up as a token there, and it has like the name that I assigned to the
where are you
piece.
selling this? Can I buy this on, you know,
Absolutely.
Google,
Yeah.
beautiful image, whatever ways?
Yeah, this website is called Super Rare, so it's actually a platform that they have set up, and it's basically all on chain. People can go there. You have to actually have an Ethereum like wallet to access.
So how many you sold to make 120 bucks?
Just one, like one of those, like, you know, somebody bought that one for 100 bucks. Like this one here, like.
Well, right now, someone bought a picture of a rose for $1 million.
Right. Yeah. So it's, and you know, and actually, like sometimes I just realized this. Like somebody bought one of the pieces the other day, and I sold it like cheaper than I normally would because it was another artist, and I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll, you know, whatever. And then I saw he had actually priced it more than double what he bought it for, and I was like, man, that's so smart. Like actually, people are hustling art like that. He said, oh, I like this. I think someone else will buy it, so he buys it to resell it. So it's almost like the baseball card thing where you're collecting it. Oh, I like this baseball card. I'm gonna buy it. It's gonna be worth more later. So it's like the opposite of that security thing, like
So
where
did you do some marketing on this or just?
I don't do marketing, I just basically just make stuff every week, and it's kind of like people paying me to
Dude,
learn.
we're the only people who actually know his real name, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Most people know him by a moniker, but like, I probably shouldn't have said his real name. He's so under the radar. Doesn't
Yeah.
have
Do you still
email.
feel a need to copyright your stuff?
I don't know, because basically like the hash is a copyright of this image, and like even if someone tried to copy it and say this is mine, like you could actually like, these are actually stored on, when I asked them before, hey, where are they storing those videos? These are actually stored not on the internet, but it's something called IPFS, so it's like a decentralized web of people that just have like servers and they all just are sharing stuff. It's just like kind of like the Bitcoin network, but so it's off the internet, but you can still access it from the internet. It's kind of an odd concept, but because as soon as I issue it, it says this is issued from my address. Like I don't need to copyright it in that sense, you know. It's like it has like a time-stamped thing. So somebody tries to say, "Hey, I made this." It's like, well, no, this block says I made it. You know, 2 years before that.
Would you say like, just to kind of simplify this would you say this is like edition version of your digital artwork?
Yes, and that's actually a great question. So this site is called Super Rare. They only let you edition the items in items of one. So like every time I issue a token, it's simply like one item. But there's some places where they'll let you issue 10, an edition of 10 or 20, and you could do that.
So the thing about what his art is, it's procedurally generated, and like, so basically, his algorithm is making this, so I don't think he can actually draw.
I can draw.